listeners, to the Monthly Show about the scary, the spooky, and the supernatural. Get ready for the latest 13 Pods of Horror.
Welcome back, you brave souls, to 13 Pods of Horror, the podcast where we drag the classics out of the crypt, dust them off, and dare you to scream along with us. This time, we're throwing the ultimate birthday bash for one of the greatest showmen horror has ever known. Born on April 24th, 1914, in the gritty streets of New York City, an orphan child named William Skulls snuck backstage after seeing Bela Lugosi in Dracula. That single night changed everything. He looked the king of vampires in his eyes and made a vow. He wanted to scare the pants off of America. And friends, he delivered. He changed his name to William Castle, stormed Broadway, hustled his way to Hollywood, and then revolutionized the entire movie-going experience. While other directors were happy to just project a film, Castle turned theaters into haunted houses, carnival sideshows, and interactive chambers of terror. He insured audiences for $1,000 against death by fright. He made a glowing skeleton fly over your head mid-movie. He wired theater seats to buzz and vibrate like a parasitic creature was crawling up your spine. He gave you special glasses to make ghosts appear or vanish on command. And if you were too chicken to finish one of his pictures, he timed a fright break, pointed you to the coward's corner, and let the whole audience know exactly who the scaredy cats were. This man did not just make horror movies, he threw horror parties. So in honor of William Castle's birthday, we're diving deep into the wild life and even wilder career of the P.T. Barnum of B-movie horror, the master of gimmicks, and the man who proved that fear is best served with a side of popcorn and a vibrating seat. So grab your ghost viewers, buckle up for Percepto, and whatever you do, don't forget to scream. Because on 13 Pods of Horror, we're not just watching the movies, we're living them. Born William Skulls Jr. on April 24th, 1914, in New York City, to Jewish parents Sadie and William. Life dealt him a cruel hand early. When he was just 9, his mother died of pneumonia. A year later, his father suffered a fatal heart attack. Orphaned at 11, young William went to live with his older sister. He was a tall, awkward kid who got teased about his German-sounding name, Skulls, which literally means castle. Little did anyone know that the name would one day become perfect for the master of scares. As a boy, he felt out of place. Summer camp tried to make a man out of him, but theater lifted his spirits. Then came the night that changed everything. Castle's obsession began at age 13 in 1927 when he repeatedly attended the Broadway production of Dracula starring Bela Lugosi. After sneaking backstage, he charmed the Hungarian actor and landed a job of assistant stage manager on the National Touring Company at age 15, dropping out of high school to join. On the road and subsequent Broadway-adjacent productions, including one where he claimed to direct at age 18, Castle didn't just handle cues and props, he actively suggested ways to heighten the terror and draw crowds. According to his 1976 autobiography, Step Right Up, I'm Going to Scare the Pants Off of America, he proposed several atmospheric gimmicks for Dracula, placing a closed black coffin outside the theaters to intrigue passerbys and set an eerie mood before patrons even entered. Burning oriental incense in the lobby to create a mysterious exotic scent that primed audiences for the supernatural. A dramatic stage effect where Count Dracula would vanish in a puff of smoke during the performance, only to suddenly reappear in the audience, snarling directly at terrified spectators. These touches turned the standard melodrama into something more immersive. They foreshadowed Castle's later film gimmicks by breaking the fourth wall and making fear feel immediate and shared. Working as a gopher, set builder, bit part actor, and occasional stage manager on various Broadway shows honed his particular skills, stretching limited resources, timing effects precisely, and reading audience's reaction in real time. Castle's most audacious pre-Hollywood Broadway era stunt came when he was still in his mid-20s and hungry for a big break. He somehow obtained Orson Welles' phone number and persuaded the rising star, then who was preparing for Citizen Kane, to release him the Stony Creek Theater in Connecticut. Before the lease was even secured, Castle had already hired German actress Ellen Schwaneke, who was known for Mädchen in Uniform and a refugee of Nazi Germany, to star. To skirt around strict theater guide rules limiting foreign actors, he quickly wrote and quote-unquote translated a non-existent German play over a single weekend, passing it off as an authentic European work titled Das Ich nicht für Kinder, translated to Not for Children. He originally planned a production of Seventh Heaven, but adapted on the fly. When the Third Reich invited Schwaneke back to Germany, she refused. Castle turned this into pure gold. He billed her sensationally as the girl who said no to Hitler. He released a fabricated press story around her defiant telegram. In a stroke of pure chutzpah, he suddenly vandalized his own theater one night, breaking windows, scrawling swastikas on the walls and interiors to make it look like a Nazi retaliation or anti-fascist attack. The resulting media frenzy was enormous. Newspapers picked up on the story. Curiosity seekers flooded in, and the production became a hot ticket. The stunt combined political drama, celebrity defiance, and manufactured controversy into one insatiable package. It worked so well that it reportedly helped land Castle an introduction to Columbia Pictures boss Harry Kahn, paving his way to Hollywood. Both Castle and Schwaneke were Jewish, adding a layer of personal risk and dark irony to the anti-Nazi angle. But Castle's autobiography frames it as a classic showbiz hustle. Anything for packed houses and headlines. By age 23, Castle headed west to Hollywood. He arrived ready to apply everything he learned about timing, audience psychology, and spectacle. He started at Columbia Pictures under the notoriously tough Harry Kahn. He worked as a dialogue coach, bit actor, writer, assistant editor, and production assistant. In 1943, he directed his first feature. He quickly earned a reputation as a reliable studio workhorse, churning out low-budget programs efficiently on tight schedules. His early credits included entries into the Whistler and Crime Doctor series, B-movies adapted from popular radio shows. In 1944, he made several notable low-budget film noirs, including When Strangers Marry, which featured a young Richard Mitchum. He served as associate producer on Orson Welles' The Lady from Shangri-La in 1947. He directed westerns, adventures, dramas, and even spectacles like Serpent of the Nile and biblical tales. He could handle anything, romance, crime, period pieces, but he grew frustrated with studio constraints and the grind of annoying B pictures. By the mid-1950s, Castle went independent. Inspired by Henry George Galot's Les Diaboliques from 1955, he mortgaged his house to produce and direct his first true horror thriller, Macabre from 1958.
attention, please. During every suspenseful moment of the running of the motion picture Macabre, the life of everyone in this theater will be insured by Lloyd's of London for $1,000 against death by fright. However, even Lloyd's of London will not grant coverage for any person with a known heart condition or for suicide by any member of the audience.
No, what has he done, Polly? Tell me. Go on.
She's not dead. Not yet. That she's in a good big coffin for her.
Don't worry about being scared to death. Your heirs will collect after you've gone.
Where is she? Where is she? I can hear her breathing. Where is she?
Bring someone with you to see this motion picture. You'll want some live hands to hold during the performance. And you won't want to go home alone after it's finished, if you're able to go home. And we won't worry about your telling anybody the ending of this picture, because you may not be around to tell. These are the living members of its cast. If you meet any of them in a dark alley, we advise you to scream for help if it's not too late to scream.
And here, his Broadway-honed showmanship exploded onto the screen. For Macabre, he secured a genuine $1,000 life insurance policy from Lloyd's of London for every ticket buyer, payable if they died of fright during the film. Theater lobbies featured giant replicas of the policy. Nurses in uniform stood by. Hearses parked outside. Audiences signed the certificates. No one claimed the payout, but the publicity was priceless. The film became a hit and launched Castle's signature-style cheap scares, amplified by wild, interactive promotions. He formed his own production company and teamed with writer Rob White and star Vincent Price for a string of cult classics. In 1959 came House on Haunted Hill.
I'm Vincent Price, and you're invited to my party in the house on Haunted Hill, where so far the ghosts have murdered only 7 people. So won't you come and make it 8? You'll see human heads without bodies. Mysterious pools of blood dripping from the ceiling. The walls move slowly in against you. Don't try to escape, you can't. You ready, dear?
No.
Are you ready, dear?
Yes, damn you.
The ghosts are waiting, so won't you join me in the house on Haunted Hill? Hurry, or you'll be late for your own funeral.
An eccentric millionaire, Frederick Lorne, Vincent Price, invites 5 strangers to a haunted mansion, offering them $10,000 if they survive the night. The Emergo gimmick stole the show. At the climax, when a skeleton rises from an acid vat on screen, a life-size glowing plastic skeleton on wires flew over the audience's head in participating theaters. Kids pelted it with popcorn, adults screamed or laughed. It was chaotic, cheap fun that turned passive viewing into a carnival ride. That same year, Castle delivered what many call his masterpiece, The Tingler.
I'm William Castle, and I feel obligated to warn you about the next attraction you will see at this theater. The picture is The Tingler, which I directed, and for the first time in motion picture history, members of the audience, including you, will actually play a part in the picture. You will feel some of the physical reactions, the shocking sensations experienced by the actors on the screen. I guarantee that The Tingler has more shocks per minute than my last film, The House on Haunted Hill. But don't be alarmed. You can protect yourself. When you see the picture, you will be told, and remember the instruction, how you can guard yourself from attack by The Tingler. And now may I show you a few scenes from The Tingler?
Pathologist Dr. Warren Chaplin, once again Vincent Price, discovers a parasitic creature that grows when people are frightened silent and is defeated only by screaming. The plot includes LSD experiments and a meta-climax where the creature escapes into the movie theaters. The gimmick? Percepto. In large theaters, vibrating motors, which were surplus World War II airplane de-icers, were wired under select seats. When the Tingler quote-unquote attacked, those seats buzzed violently, simulating the creature crawling up your spine. Castle planted screamers in the crowd, had Price urge viewers to scream for your lives, and reportedly buzzed 20 million behinds. It created a genuine phenomenon and is still remembered as one of the boldest audience participation stunts in cinema history.
Listen to William Castle, whom the Saturday Evening Post calls the master of movie horror.
Do you believe in ghosts? I do. And you will too. When you come to this theater and see my picture, 13 Ghosts. No more dictation today. When you see 13 ghosts, you'll be given a supernatural viewer like this, which will enable you to penetrate for the first time into the spirit world. It will let you see all 13 of our weird, wonderful, and wildly assorted ghosts.
Now, brace yourself as we take you across the threshold of our haunted mansion, where there's a ghost for everyone in the family. Father, mother, sister, brother. You'll be scared stiff too when you see what they see. 13 ghosts, materializing in ectoplasmic color through the magic of Illusiono, the Ghost Viewer. the ghost of a lion in the basement. The ghost of a murderous cook in the kitchen.
Stop it! Stop it, I say!
The ghost who speaks through the lips of the living.
Death tonight. To one of you.
The evil ghost in the bedroom, fighting to take possession of this beautiful girl. You'll feel all the thrills and chills of seeing one ghost multiplied by the magic number 13.
In 1960, 13 ghosts followed an impoverished family that inherits a haunted house filled with 12 captured spirits. Each audience member received a cardboard ghost viewer with red and blue cellophane filters, like early 3D glasses but simpler. Looking through the red side made the colorful ghosts visible on screen. The blue side made them disappear. This turned viewing into an interactive game. Brave viewers could see everything, while the timid could opt out. The gimmick was inexpensive to produce and distribute, family-friendly, and tied directly to the plot. The characters used similar viewers in the haunted house itself. It appealed especially to kids and helped the film perform well. Homicidal in 1961.
For the first time in screen history, a special interval will be provided during the running of this picture for refunding your admission. If you're unable to stand the almost unbearable suspense, the almost paralyzing shock of homicidal.
If homicide is your hobby, may I recommend a surgical knife for a nice, clean, quiet murder? I'm William Castle, and this wheelchair is just to rest my tired nerves after producing a picture like this one. We are so sure you will find it such a shocking and startling experience that we are offering a money-back guarantee when you come to see Homicidal. At the height of the suspense, there will be a fright break, an interval during which you can quiet your nerves. If you are too frightened to see the end of the picture, your full admission price will be refunded. Time to go downstairs now. Got a date to carve a corpse.
Which had the brutal stabbing murder of a justice of the peace spark an investigation of dark family secrets in a sleepy Southern California town. The thriller included a 45-second fright break, timed with the stopwatch on screen just before the climax. Viewers too scared to continue could leave for a full refund, but that they had to follow a yellow line in the floor to the lobby's coward corner, a yellow booth where they signed a certificate admitting I was a bona fide coward. And some theaters added dunce caps or humiliations. It was a meta, self-deprecating stunt that played on audiences' bravado and generated laughs alongside the tension. Castle claimed it was rarely abused. Mr. Scardonicus from 1961.
I've searched for a unique way whereby a motion picture audience can actually decide the climax of a picture. I have found such a way. My latest picture, Mr. Sardonicus, offers something no audience has ever had before: the power to determine the fate of a character on the screen, the power to punish. In ancient Rome, spectators could decree life or death to a gladiator by indicating thumbs up or thumbs down. During the French Revolution, the mobs could condemn a man by merely shouting, "To the guillotine." In the early West, vigilantes took the law into their own hands. Today, for the first time, the awful power to punish will be yours. After you see the evil events that made Mr. Sardonicus what he was, you will decide what should be done to him. You will now see some scenes from the picture. The face of Mr. Sardonicus will not be shown, because I realize that some people in this audience might be adversely affected by it. Those of you who come to see Mr. Sardonicus will understand why.
Mr. Sardonicus. What makes his name strike terror?
Sardonicus?
Why were you frightened?
Sir, you would not understand. You are young. You do not yet have daughters.
Why does his wife live in abject fear?
If you do not heal him, he will punish me.
Surely he wouldn't beat you.
His cleverness knows a more hideous torture.
What strange attraction did young women have for him? What secrets are hidden behind his doors? Mr. Sardonicus. His deeds formed a fabric of nightmares. His face, the face of Sardonicus, can be described only in the eyes of its beholders.
Mr. Sardonicus, in spite of all his cruelties, some people will think he deserves mercy. Others will feel that no punishment could be too severe. When you come to see Mr. Sardonicus, you will receive a ballot like this. At a certain point in the picture, you will vote thumbs up or thumbs down. His punishment will depend on the result of your vote.
Where a mysterious and cruel baron, whose face has become frozen in a horrifying grin, demands that a prominent London physician apply experimental treatments on him to restore his face. At the film's end, audience members received a glow-in-the-dark set of cards to vote on the villain's fate, mercy or no mercy. The projectionist would supposedly run the chosen ending. In practice, most theaters only had the harsher version ready, or the mercy ending was rarely used. This interactive poll broke the fourth wall and gave viewers a sense of control over the story. Straitjacket from 1964.
When I put those clothes on, something happens to me. Something frightening.
From the loneliness and simplicity of an isolated farm to the sophisticated elegance of a country estate, Straitjacket mounts to a crescendo of electrifying suspense. Sinister. Frightening.
Don't you go in that room!
Joan Crawford in a shattering screen portrayal. A frantic woman pressured by straitjacket tension.
Leave me alone! You let go of me! Listen to me!
Just call me Lucy. I wouldn't like my little girl to think I was trying to take her fellow away from her.
Carol and Michael are going to be married! And nobody's gonna stop it!
Ingeniously designed to shock and startle, Straitjacket may go beyond the limits of your ability to endure suspense.
Mother!
He's gone.
Oh my God!
The author of the famed novel Psycho, the director of the widely acclaimed chiller Homicidal, the co-star of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, join forces to create a frightening classic of shock and suspense.
After a 20-year asylum stay for a double axe murder, suspicion rises when Lucy Harbin's behavior as she returns to her daughter Carol, who is engaged to marry Michael Fields. Soon heads begin to roll again. Joan Crawford, who starred in the movie, toured theaters for personal appearances. Some screenings include cardboard axes as giveaways. I Saw What You Did, 1965.
Don't answer it.
Don't answer it.
Don't answer it. Your name is in this book. It could happen to you. It starts as a game, and there's no end in fright.
Go ahead. Close your eyes and pick a name. Pick a name? Any name. I saw what you did, and I know who you are.
I saw what you did. I know who you are.
The dial clicks, and the terror mounts. Don't answer it. See it.
Teenagers Lib and Kit innocently spent an evening making random prank calls that led to mysterious consequences. Focus more on the promotional tie-ins, and again, Joan Crawford with a less elaborate in-theater effect. Bug, 1975.
It was a day like any other. The air hung heavy with the heat. Then it happened. A crack in the land that reached to the very bowels of the earth itself, spitting out the fires of hell. And the gleaming black bug that had no eyes and looked like a rock. It traveled in the exhaust pipes of cars, making fire, killing, and infesting the land with a burning terror. Wherever you turned, the bug was waiting, ready to grasp you in its soul-chilling grip of terror, to push you beyond human endurance, and leave you in a state of blood-boiling fear that will drag you to the brink of your sanity. One man was determined to learn its secrets, to discover how it grew and what it needed to survive.
The Parmiterras will eat only raw meat, any kind.
At first, it ate only ashes, but now it needed meat, and it would get that meat from whatever source it could. It was a creature from hell, and nothing could stop it. The bug lives. The bug grows. The ordinary becomes the extraordinary as the bug brings you the ultimate experience in terror. A terror so real, it will make your skin crawl, your heart pound, and your soul scream for release from the Bug. You won't live alone if you live at all when the Bug comes to your house.
The inhabitants of a small town found themselves under siege from mutant cockroaches that have the ability to start fires. Castle took out $1 million life insurance policy on the film's giant cockroach star named Hercules, and revived the death by fright insurance angle in promotions. By the mid-1960s, the novelty of gimmicks began to fade as audiences grew more sophisticated and theater owners tired of the logistics. Castle sought respectability. He bought the rights to Ira Levin's novel Rosemary's Baby.
Hey, let's make love.
Paramount Pictures presents Mia Farrow in a William Castle production, Rosemary's Baby, co-starring John Cassavetes, Ruth Gordon, Sidney Blackmer, Morris Evans, and Ralph Bellamy, written for the screen and directed by Roman Polanski, from the best-selling novel by Ira Levin, suggested for mature audiences.
Mortgaged his house again and produced the 1968 smash hit through Paramount, though Paramount assigned Roman Polanski to direct. Castle has a small cameo and gained mainstream credibility. He returned with oddities like the mime-driven Shanks in 1974.
Malcolm Shanks hears no evil. He speaks no evil, because he's too busy making dead people walk. If you're nervous and you feel jumpy, Malcolm will show you how to relax. The great artist Marcel Marceau plays Malcolm Shanks and many other forms of life, rated PG.
And the previously mentioned cockroach horror Bug from 1975. He even acted in films like The Day of the Locust and Shampoo. His health declined with kidney issues, but he stayed busy. In 1976, He published his lively autobiography, Step Right Up, I'm Going to Scare the Pants Off America, full of hilarious stories about his hustles and stunts. On May 31st, 1977, William Castle suffered a heart attack at his Beverly Hills home and died at the age of 63 in Los Angeles. He was survived by his wife, Ellen Falk, whom he married in 1948, and their two children. He was buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Castle directed or produces over 100 films, but his true legacy isn't just the movies. It is a joy they brought to the theater experience. He proved that horror could be fun, communal, and participatory. He turned B-movies into events. He made audiences part of the show. From the orphan kid who snuck backstage to meet Dracula, to the Broadway hustler vandalizing his own theater for headlines, to the filmmaker who wired seats to buzz and skeletons to fly overhead, William Castle never stopped believing that fear is best served with imagination and a little chutzpah, and a whole lot of showmanship. So next time you watch a horror movie and wish the theater itself could scare you, remember the man who once made it happen.
You have just been listening to 13 Pods of Horror, a Planet Geek production. Please be sure to download, subscribe, share, rate, and review. You can buy us a coffee by going to ko-fi.com/planetgeekpod. On different social medias, you can search for either Planet Geek Productions or Planet Geek Pod. You can also reach out to us via email at planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.